Hey, we're the Massholes. We're on the West Coast. We're the West Coast Massholes. We're the Massholes on the West Coast. We were from Mass. We were holes when we're there, but we came out here and now we're West Coast Massholes. Hey, everybody. Welcome to West Coast Massholes. I am West Coast Masshole Todd Anderson. West Coast Masshole Josh Wingate is unavailable. He didn't want to make himself available. He's being very difficult, as he often is. He's an internet troll and just all-around douche. He's from Massachusetts. What do you expect? He's a masshole. But he's not here. But it doesn't matter because there are other West Coast massholes just as good. And the West Coast masshole who's with us, subbing for Josh this time, is West Coast masshole Andy Barth. Hi, Andy.
Hi, how are you, Todd?
I'm good. It's good to have you on West Coast Massholes. It's you're nothing like Josh, and I think that's good. That's a good start. So I was thinking about this because the name of this dumb show is West Coast Massholes. I am a West Coast masshole because of your Volkswagen Rabbit.
That is true. That is true. I am a West Coast masshole because of you, because you decided you were going to come out here, and I had literally nothing better to do than sit in a car with you for 2 weeks straight.
That's like,
which tells you where I was in my life.
That was your whole that was your whole thing. It wasn't a dream. It was just, I got nothing else to do.
Literally nothing better to do. I was like, screw it. Let's go.
And now you live in Playa del Rey.
I live in Playa del Rey, yeah. I just celebrated 10 years of Playa del Rey a couple days ago.
Oh, wow. Wow, yeah. It's been a decade. That's cool.
In a decade, yeah, that's how fast it goes.
It's so crazy, though, because in my mind, because I remember you guys, you and your wife, Amy, had the condo in Winnetka.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny. I only picture you guys there. It feels like you've been there the whole time.
And the funny thing for me is, like, I barely remember that place now. Like, to me, that was such a blip. And I was there 6 years. It wasn't like we were there for like a few months. Like, we were there for a while. But it's like so not part of my LA existence. Like, it was like you and me living together, and then getting married and living in Sherman Oaks, and then basically here. But there was a 6-year, Winnetka gap.
Yeah, I guess you really didn't like it there, if you put it out of your head like that.
You know, I really liked owning the place. That was cool because you could kind of do what you wanted to with it. But we bought it right as everything tumbled. So it just, a lot of people sold and a lot of people rented out, and it just became like less of a community where we were, because we were in like townhomes.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just wasn't that much fun. And it was really dark. You know, it just wasn't.
Like literally dark.
Like literally not a lot of natural light coming in. So, you know, and then, I mean, you've been here, so here is like, like tons, there's windows everywhere and a roof deck, and it's all about, you know, like light. So, yeah, I didn't dislike Winnetka, but I really like Playa del
Rey. Right. It's just interesting because, I mean, for me, I have, you know, I vivid memories of every apartment that I've ever been in.
Yeah.
From freshman year in Judson Hall at NYU to now. I mean, I can picture all of my apartments. None of them are blips. Even the one that was only 6 months, where I broke a lease because it was
someone out of Queens, like the one where you were like fighting off rats and stuff.
Oh no, that was Astoria. No, the one that no, I didn't break the lease there. That was an illegal sublet, is what it was. So I didn't break any lease when I refused to give my roommates any more fucking money for rent. When the heat went out on New Year's, it was like 10 degrees below zero outside, and the heat went out. And they're like, you got to cough up the rent. Fuck you! I'm not coughing up rent. There's no heat. Might as well be living on the street. Yeah, that was a horrible place, where my father, when he picked me up to, you know, where I tail between my legs, moved back home for a year, where we landscaped in Massachusetts together. But when he picked me up at that Astoria place, he was like, "Don't tell your mother about this place.
Yeah, that's an example. There's a lot of examples from New York that were where I'm really happy we didn't have smartphones. There's memories that I wish I had, like recorded, and pictures that I wish I had, but there's many more that I'm really glad we don't have. So
Yeah, sure. Yeah, if my 21st birthday party was widely available on YouTube, we wouldn't be talking right now.
oh no, you'd be canceled, dude.
I would be living in exile. There's no doubt, and probably deservedly so. If they come for me, I'll go. It's fine.
You don't have to worry about the liberals coming for you. You got to worry about the Nazis. That's it.
Well, yeah, the Nazis are a huge problem. I really don't like them. But yeah, it's like the one that I lived in for 6 months before we bought our first house. It was a nightmare, but I remember it very clearly.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that one. I think that was the one because I remember the one in National, and then you were in the Valley, and I don't remember there was one where you moved in and then you got like stolen. Crap got stolen like immediately.
Oh no, that was we didn't actually live in that place. We rented it for a few days, and when we moved a few things into a house in LA, that all of it went away. And then when we called the cops, we're like, yeah, they stole all our stuff. And they're like, yeah, they're going to keep doing that. And I was just like, oh. And he's like, yeah, you guys are kind of a target. Which was his cop way of, and it's probably technically racist, telling me because I was white I shouldn't move into that neighborhood. So we didn't.
Gentrification hadn't reached that neighborhood
yet. Yeah, it was too soon, and we would be a target of crime. So we didn't move in there. We went to Beverly Hills to talk to the landlords, and literally had a meeting with them saying, hey, you got to let us out of this, and they did. They took some of our money, but whatever the first month's rent or whatever, we lost that. But yeah, we didn't actually live in that place. But this place, which was in Culver City, it was, I guess, adjacent to a rougher neighborhood, and so there was crime would spill in. But there was so many problems with that building outside of the fact that my wife, while holding our baby, got mugged. There was a lot more problems. Like our downstairs neighbors were incessantly loud. The walls were incredibly thin, and their downstairs neighbors were college kids, and they'd have parties. Like
that happens with college.
And we had a baby, and they had giant parties, and literally they would pull it was like one of these buildings with a courtyard in the middle. I don't know what you
know. Yeah.
But they would literally pull all their furniture out into the courtyard and their stereo and shit, and have giant college parties in the courtyard. And we were the only people who ever complained. It was batshit crazy. People just lived in fear. They didn't want to complain. I was screaming at these guys. I had a baby. I was trying to get to go to sleep.
Yeah, you were, I'm sure, mentally very focused at that point.
Yeah, I didn't fucking care if they were dangerous or whatever. Fuck you guys. Turn this fucking shit off and stop smoking in the courtyard. Why are there sofas? Are those people having sex over there? This is not appropriate.
It sounds like a compound.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think the difference was with the compound. If everybody who was not aware, the compound was a grouping of houses in Burbank in which Andy lived. And the houses, these little houses, were, if I understand it right, they were built for the little people who worked on The Wizard of Oz.
I think they were built for the little people in general, but that worked in Hollywood. But that may have been one of these specific movies that they were working on.
Yeah. So there was that. There was a couple little houses, and then an apartment building. It was all part of the same kind of complex where all of you lived.
Yeah, and like the owner who owned it all lived there too. Like it was all and it all kind of centered on this center area.
And you were all, around the same age and in the same social place, right? So if you have some crazy party there, you know, that your direct neighbors aren't going to be mad because you're all friends.
Yeah, the only downside of that was we had two like apartment buildings like that were not part of the compound that faced us. So anyone on that side of, you know, and it really was probably just a few, like maybe 4 apartments total, but they got blasted like every weekend. They got blasted. The
Yeah.
cops were there constantly. You know, it was, you know, Burbank. It wasn't a big deal. Like it's not like they're, you know, stormtroopers coming in. It was, you know, walking in.
Burbank cops aren't stormtroopers. They're pretty hard
Sergeants
at.
are well, I don't know now, but at the time the cops were actually kind of cool. But if a sergeant showed up, that's when everything shut down because that you didn't want to mess with that.
I mean, like more than a decade ago now. You know, I was making a, you know, shoestring budget kind of guerrilla indie movie, and we were shooting in Burbank, and they shut it down so fast. It was so fast. We had to go to the city hall and get permits, and we started shooting again. But they like drove by, pulled in, and shut it down. I got pulled over one time in the middle of the night because I was coming home from a night shoot by a Burbank cop, and he pulled me over because this is what he told me: I just watched your headlight go out. And I was like, so you literally saw my light go out and then you pulled me over to give me a ticket?
And the guy gave you a ticket, didn't give you a warning? Like
he didn't give me, well, he wound up not giving me a ticket. I didn't say any of those things. I was just really confused. I was like, yeah, that's so weird. And he was like, you know, and he was doing this whole thing about we don't do fix-it tickets anymore, that they don't do that. That's what he said. But he was like, are there any drugs? Am I going to find any drugs? And I was like, find drugs? No, I'm driving home from work. I want to go home and go to sleep. And he was like, all right, get out of the car. He like searched my car for drugs.
Are you kidding me? He pulled you out?
He took me out of the car, made me wait while he took everything out of my fucking car looking for drugs. And I was like, why? My headlight went out in front of you. That's not somebody who's on drugs. That's a light going out.
Yeah.
That's my experience with Burbank cops. So yeah.
Well, you know, it's a smaller town within a larger city, and it's a private police force, you know, specific to that town. So, you know, they generate money the way they can, which is usually by, you know, parking tickets and speeding tickets and all that other crap. So yeah, they're definitely more engaged, if you will, than you know, like a lot of LAPD is.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Well, in a way, it's like smaller town cops. They have to find other stuff to do because they don't have as much crime to hassle with.
Yeah, well, and like back in the day with the history of LA, like Burbank and like Santa Monica, which is also a private city, like that was a Wild West, man. You crossed that place, you had a good chance of someone shaking you down. Usually a cop shaking you down for money, you know.
Yeah.
For an LA citizen.
That's interesting too, because I would say that Burbank and Santa Monica are the most difficult places to get in and out of.
Mm-hmm.
in Los Angeles, and that's due to traffic, really.
Yeah.
But it's weird that you say that, and that history has led to them being congested and famously difficult to find parking in.
Yeah, I mean, like they come by it, you know, naturally. They were basically sunset towns too. So, you know, they were not great places to be if you weren't a white straight male. Well, really, no place was great at the time. But yeah, they were sunset towns. Yeah, that was just a
Burbank and Santa Monica were sunset towns. Sundown.
Basically, yeah.
Sunset towns.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They were, you did not want to get caught there if you were not a white person after sunset. Like
what about gingers?
I don't know where gingers fall on that. I mean, you go back far enough, and it's you know, get the Irish off the lawn. You know, sure.
Right, you go back far enough, it's throwing redheaded babies in the pits of fire in ancient Egypt.
Wow, really? I didn't know.
Yeah, they thought that they were demon babies.
Yeah, and that sucks because you know when the first redheaded kid came out, it could have gone either way, right? They could have been like, "Oh my God, this is a miracle child. This is the son of the god Ra, like the hair of fire. We should be worshiping." Instead, they were like, "Oh, this thing needs to get killed immediately."
I think that's the general reaction. I don't think like people when they have that reaction to what you're saying, it's never to like a human thing. It's like to Jesus appearing in a pancake.
Yeah, yeah.
They're not gonna. A baby's born that looks different. The natural human response is going to be to kill it. I think.
It's such a destructive thing.
I don't. I don't. I. I mean, I'm not happy about it. I think I'm sad. I'm sad that redheaded babies in ancient Egypt got thrown into pits of fire. That's sad.
Well, they all escaped to Ireland and Scotland anyway. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. People are still prejudiced against gingers, I guess, but I guess
I think you can thank South Park for that. They kind of
Oh.
revived that whole thing.
Yeah. It's funny though, because it's like, it's like, I feel like gingers are the last group that you can sort of make fun of just for being ginger, like Italian, the Italian accent's the only accent that you can do and sort of make fun of and do a stereotype of where you're not going to get in trouble for some reason. So, you know what I mean? So
no, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all, we live in confusing times.
We do live in confusing time. To answer your question, though, I don't think if you were a ginger, I think you'd be okay
in the sundown.
But apparently now, in recent times, you can't be ginger in Burbank without getting pulled over.
Yeah, well, do you think that's why? I mean, I don't.
No, I think maybe he saw the headlight out initially, and then saw the hair when he came up, and that's why
That's why I assumed drugs, right? That's George Takei telling us to shut up. Well, thank you, Andy Barth, for substituting for Josh on West Coast Massholes. It was very exciting.
A poor substitute, but I'm here if you need me.
I don't think you're a poor substitute. I mean, you're a very important element, certainly, of my West Coast Masshole history. I wouldn't be a West Coast Masshole if you hadn't driven me out here. I mean, I drove the car of the way, but it was your car.
It was my car that we killed on the way out. So
yeah, well, it was a long way for that old ass fucking car.
It was a really long way,
and it went through a lot. It went through Bluesmobile level shit on that.
Yeah, we were not kind to it, and Mother Nature was not kind to it. It was.
No, there were tumbleweeds in Kansas and blizzards in Colorado. It was a mess.
I still can't believe we didn't die in Colorado. By all rights, we should never have made it past there.
No, I don't know how we did. It was the kindness of that one guy who gave us those blankets, so we didn't freeze to death.
But all we did was shiver and watch him in his windows, walking back, watching TV and cooking up meals.
No, that wasn't him. He was a different guy. That was two guys. There was the guy in the RV fucking cooking and putting his feet up and watching TV, but the other guy was like a concerned dad who thought we were idiots.
Who knew we were idiots?
Yeah, you fucking idiots. You take these blankets, you dumbass.
I don't want to take your ice cubes out of this car later.
All right. Well, we're gonna sign off on West Coast Massholes the way we always do. Fuck you, Nazis.
Fuck you, Nazis.
Ah, that's right. Fuck you, you stupid fucking Nazis. I hate you.
Damn Nazis.
This has been a Blursh production. Blursh.